What is Black culture? Well, today it seems to be a ubiquitous force, a special spice sprinkled in every stew pot in the world. It's a flavor, an energy mimicked, adopted, adapted, adored, and adornment people think they can just hang around their necks like costume jewelry. Don't they know Black culture is precious metal? It's heavy and gorgeous. Don't we know Black culture is more than an outfit and an accent and a slick tongue? It's more than a creative way to do and say everything. It's more than fresh, more than wailing the blues and jazz and soul and 2 turntables and a mic, a beatbox, a breakbeat, a beat machine, a stage show. It's more than a good joke and a belly laugh loud enough to remember that Black culture is more than pain, more than a patchwork of bodies in the bowels of a boat. It's more than blood in the blue water. Black culture is transatlantic. Black culture is more than the Americas, the Caribbean, and Europe, and it doesn't begin where freedom ends. Black culture begins where life does, in Africa.
I'm Jason Reynolds. I'm an author, a poet, a lover of history, and I'll be guiding you through this journey of Black art and culture. But the only way to begin is to acknowledge that this experience is a big one. That Blackness is as wide as it is tall, and it's impossible to hold or know in its entirety, which to me is what makes it so special. That being said, we're gonna cover many things, but we won't cover everything. Not because we don't want to, but because Black culture in its essence is about evolution and exploration. It always has been. So if Black culture is impossible to hold or know in its entirety, then what exactly is it? Well, to me, given that we know it's rooted in Africa, the birthplace of all, perhaps Black culture is the oxygen of the world. It gives breath to everything and everyone. It is alive. It makes, it mirrors, but most of all, it moves. Express yourself. Express yourself. You don't never need help from nobody else. All you got to do now, express yourself. Whatever you do, do it good. Whatever you do, Lord, Lord. Do it good. All right. It's not what you look like when you're doing what you're doing. It's what you're doing when you're doing what you look like you're doing. Express yourself.
All the women who have worked to secure and protect the right to vote for over a century, I stand on their shoulders.
I think it's just critical for us to not only lift up Black women, but to recognize that we're also always in coalition trying to get this done.
How are you? I'm successful. How are you?
The vaccine that you're going to be taking was developed by an African-American woman, and that is just a fact.
People are putting their bodies on the line and raising their voices to say enough is enough.
Reclaiming my time.
When you are sitting at a seat of power and you look around and you just see you and a bunch of men and you're okay with that, be better.
Black Lives Matter is a tool to reimagine a world where Black people are free to exist.
This moment is for Dorothy Dandridge, Lena Horne, Diane Carroll.
Ray Jamieson will be making her first trip in space today.
There is a great need for more women in the political arena.
What does it mean to be a criminal in this society?
I like being a woman a lot, and being a Black American woman even more.
Left off and the clock has started.
My arrest brought about a protest from the people of Montgomery that lasted 381 days.
And the Negro citizens of Montgomery are urged to return to the buses tomorrow morning.
To be a Black girl. I'm inspired by the trail set before us by generations of powerful and empowered women. Our lineage teaches us that we are integral, even when society dismisses us. God bless Black women, the mothers and caretakers, the aunties and rule breakers, the sisters and sister friends who have nurtured me, whose grace under pressure have made it possible for us to be. As Nikki Giovanni says, art is not for the cultivated taste. It is to cultivate taste. And we are the cultivators, unaccredited but ever present, knocking down barriers. Our achievements allow us all to rise, from the suffrage and the civil rights movements to putting a man on the moon. The one thing I know for sure is, we are all leaders in every form that we assume. To be a Black girl.
Throughout February, we celebrate the luminaries of our community, ones who have given us the permission and space to aim higher through their art, their activism, and their audacity. For centuries, Black artists have used their platforms to shed light on the issues facing and challenging our communities, while also celebrating our resilience and innovation. The various forms of art created over the years have allowed the world to witness our joy, our pain, our resistance, and most importantly, our humanity. As a young woman, the work of legendary writers such as Toni Morrison, James Baldwin, Countee Cullen, and Gwendolyn Brooks honed my storytelling abilities by highlighting the complex stories of ordinary Black people in this nation. The people who did the best they could with the few resources at their disposal. The people who were determined to craft a livable today and create a better future by pushing this nation to live up to its highest ideals. Today, we see artists and activists rising up and carrying on that same tradition. They are using their voices to bring attention to the stubborn realities of systemic injustice that have been allowed to persist for too long, a constant source of anguish and despair. But they're also showing us what is possible when we join together to fight for the future we deserve. Here in Georgia, a state that gave us Martin Luther King Jr., John Lewis, Amelia Boynton Robinson, and other freedom fighters, a coalition of activists, artists, voters, and volunteers worked together to flip the state for the first time in a generation and elect the leadership necessary to enact the policies that will move our communities forward. This, too, is history. We don't need platforms, followers, or titles to serve our neighbors and build our tomorrows. We simply need the same integrity and courage of those that came before us. Our time is now. Let's lift our voices and work our hands to create the future we deserve.
This is probably the scariest moment in my career that happens repeatedly. What if I make mistakes here? What if something goes wrong? What if I do something I'm not meant to do? There's so much pressure in this space. Being an artist is an absurd career choice. So back to this scary canvas, this space for freedom, possibility, ideas. That's a more positive way to think about it. When I draw a line, I feel like I'm connected to the world. When I draw a line, I feel like I'm at peace with myself. When I draw a line, I feel like the line is sacred and it was always there before me. As a Black queer artist, I think there is some responsibility, and the responsibility there is to be seen and to be known. And when you can be seen and known, then you can inspire. I did not see anyone that looked like me doing what I was doing when I was younger. I didn't know it was possible. I had to imagine something that no one ever imagined for me. When you're working in black and white, you can't hide. Everything is visible. You have to be confident in that stroke. When I'm in the UK, I'm biracial, I'm mixed race. And then I come to America and I'm Black. But then you live in America long enough and you realize that it has to be black and white here because that Black struggle is so real, it's so big, it's so long that I have to pick up some of that weight. When I think about Black History Month, I think about words like accountability. ACC, art is a tool that has legacy. Art are instructions that can be carried across time, where lessons can be learned. Why? All the lessons are out there. Until there is real accountability and acknowledgement of what has happened, it's always going to be black and white, and we always will have to pick some of that weight up. But now we have these free stick figures that are helping each other reach to this new height of accountability. You know, often I think about what needs to shift or change for a young Black artist to have a real successful career. And I think ultimately it's just value and respect. Until Black artists are really valued for who they are, until that happens, nothing will change. I felt that moment where I should stop and for the first time take a moment to see what I've created here. Every time I draw and every time I finish, it's a surprise to me that it works. It's a surprise to me that it feels good. When I was drawing, it allowed me to get things out. And initially I was doing that because I was in pain, but then I continued to do that because there was joy. Drawing is that gift. It is that tool that we're all given, connecting your heart to your head to your hand. And that cycle is a prescription for healing. Chantal. I'm Chantal Martin, and I'm an artist.
Happy Black History Month. My name is Ziwe, and I am famously a Black woman. Today, I will be celebrating the Black History Month baddies. Black women not only get things done, they are the spark. The first Black History baddie is Maya Angelou. She knows why the caged bird sings. Now, Maya Angelou is a brilliant author, a poet, a novelist. I mean, the woman has credits. She brings her experiences as a fry cook, as a sex worker, as a coordinator for the SPLC into her art. So, shout out to Maya Angelou. You will always be in my heart. The second Black History Month baddie is Ida B. Wells. She was a journalist who pioneered the first known database for lynchings in America. This woman won a posthumous Pulitzer Prize. That legendary behavior is pivotal in terms of how I approach journalism and the work that I create as a comedian cosplaying as a journalist. In the third Black History Month baddie is Beyonce Knowles Carter. I love Beyonce. She's been on the charts all my life. Bills, 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 Survivor, Say My Name. I mean, have you seen Beyonce in concert? If you haven't, you know, there are videos on YouTube. All three of these Black women have given so much to Black history, and I owe them my career. God bless America, God bless Black women, and God bless me, a Black woman in America.
When Black people move, we make the world move with us. Our power is in the swivel of our hips, our dips, sachets, and pliés. We are choreographers, steppers, ballerinas. We are the children of Josephine Baker, Katherine Dunham, Alvin Ailey. In the world of dance, Alvin Ailey is a divine architect, a mover and shaker. Literally, he created movement.
It's about giving, it's about loving, it's about wanting to make something where there was nothing before. It's about watching young people grow. It's about creating choreographers. It's about creating dancers.
Raised by his mother in Rogers, Texas, Alvin Ailey first touched the dance floor at 18. As a performer and choreographer, he communed through dance. He knew that with dance, he could convey the joys and blues of Blackness. In 1958, Ailey founded a dance company where he could reflect the Black experience upon the world in his own way, Alvin Ailey American Dance Theater. What a feat it was to fashion a space for Black expression in the heat of a civil rights movement when whites only was both a law and a state of mind. Through his many performances, Ailey transported audiences into the many dimensions of what it means to be Black. From his first show at the 92nd Street Y in New York City to his 1960s signature work, Revelations, to his 1971 premiere of Cry, a 16-minute ballet about a Black woman's journey from bitter sorrow to brutal hardship to ecstatic joy.
I made Cry in 1971 as a birthday present for my mother. It's a tribute to Black women. It has to do with the struggles of Black women in an abstract way through images of slavery and servitude. And in the second part, rage, and anger, and finally, joyfulness.
Cry goes from being in Africa, being forced onto a ship and taken across the seas and forced into slavery, putting up with the hardships of living in a ghetto, but triumphing over all the madness that this life can bring. A Black woman, you know, and still triumphing over all of it with the head held high.
Damn you, mister, and I dragged him out the door. No, damn you, mister, and I dragged him out the door.
Dance holds up by itself. Cry is just this work of art that needs to be seen forever and ever and ever.
He made Cry and dedicated the performance to all Black women everywhere, especially our mothers. This one-woman tour de force is as timeless as the wind. He created it on his muse, the legendary Judith Jamison, who has passed it on to generations of other Ailey dancers.
With Cry, it's not just about stamina physically, it's emotional stamina and spiritual stamina, because you are carrying the weight of the world.
Ailey saw dance as a complicated chemistry of movement, grace, and strength, where he could share stories from the past. The dance world is forever indebted to Ailey, his vision and the safe space he created where rhythm births freedom. Somehow, he knew what we all know, that with dance, we own our story.
When you don't have a voice, art's how you express yourself. And that applies to all cultures, but especially Black American culture. It's been through art that our story's been reflected. The resilience, the setbacks, the joys, and the hopes.
My grandfather bragged all the time that he had read the Bible through 5 times from cover to cover. And it was illegal in his life to read. And it was illegal for white people to teach Black kids to read. But ultimately, I knew that words have power.
I first picked up Toni Morrison's novels when I was just entering college. Her voice changed me. She became one of my heroes, somebody who helped me understand myself and the world around me. I was lucky enough to get to know her later in her life. This is where she was as much a poet as a prose writer. And she brought an intensity to that world even beneath obvious meaning that gave all her novels an extra force, an extra power. How she worked that magic is something that I can't completely describe because that's what it was magic. One of the lines that always stuck with me was her belief that language arcs toward the place where meaning might lie. When she wrote a story, it seemed as if she was tapping into something that went beyond just the intellectual understanding of language and plot. She was able to locate her stories specifically to the African American community, and yet, as all the best writers do, create universal meaning in those narratives. And that's what art at its best can do.
There is always light if only we're brave enough to see it, if only we're brave enough to be it.
The white man thinks he's losing the country. You watch the news like, we're losing everything. White people ain't losing. If y'all losing, who's winning? It ain't us.
Here, on the pulse of this new day, you may have the grace to look up and out and say simply, very simply, with hope, good morning.
I hate to see any baseball player having troubles, but that's a great sport for my people. That is the only sport in the world where a Negro can shake a stick at a white man and won't start no riot.
When it comes to life-changing storytellers, Frederick Douglass is definitely a cultural oak. But he's just one tree in an expansive literary forest. You see, he isn't the beginning of our relationship with the written word. Whether it be the hieroglyphs of ancient Egypt or even the Adinkra symbols of the Akan people, we have always used some form of written language through letter or character to document our existence. And over time, as we found ourselves in places that worked to deny our lives, our written testament became one of our greatest weapons. Though there were prominent black writers in the early 1900s, nothing could prepare America for what was coming in the 1920s. The Harlem Renaissance. This movement was as bustling as the city that birthed it and would change literature forever. There was a freedom in Harlem. And you know what you do when you feel like you free? Whatever you want, but mostly you tell the truth. So writers like Richard Wright and Langston Hughes and Zora Neale Hurston began to write the different versions of black life. The good stuff, the not so good stuff, you know, the human stuff. And with each story, each poem, each play, our voices grew bolder, bigger, braver. We'd see this again during the black arts movement of the 60s and 70s, where black power became a refrain, where poets shifted and shaped the new black stance with a new black stanza, where the novelists and playwrights spun our world onto pages and stages with precision and rebellion and love. But seriously, what's precision, rebellion, and love without laughter? What's telling our stories if we can't make light of our struggles, not because our struggles are light, but because there's always light to be found there? And so with the influx of all these poets came the influx of all these comedians. Street philosophers who could turn reality on its head for ha-ha and aha moments. So yeah, we write stories, been writing them. And we write jokes, been writing those too. We write poems and we write plays. We write shows, we write sermons, and we write essays. We write and write and write ourselves into the world, sometimes punctuated, sometimes not. Sometimes misspelled and messy, sometimes in gorgeous calligraphy. Either way, we write ourselves as unerasable.
My favorite book growing up, I can name it off the top because I've read it a million times, Black Boy by Richard Wright. I read it and I didn't think it was, I was like, this can't be real. This is what real life is. But by that age, I had already started having interactions because of race. And that book was like the first time, other than my family, I was like, yo, black people all over the country are going through stuff and this is what we go through. And it kind of connected me to my blackness.
I Don't Want to Die Poor by Michael Arsenault is like a dope collection of, you know, stories and essays and stuff like that. He makes these like kind of like sad situations like, you know, student loan debt and like, you know, everyday problems, like finds humor in them.
When I first started acting, I discovered A Raisin in the Sun by Lorraine Hansberry. There's so many wonderful black playwrights. I just really admire black women who are fearless. I love those women for making a space for me. I think the most powerful word in the English language is the word no, because no is a full sentence. It's also one word. We spend a lot of time trying to explain to people why you're saying no, but you don't have to. You can truly just say, no, and that's the end of the sentence.
The word that has the most power in the English language is yes.
I think the word that has the most power in the human language is help. It's such a powerful word. It's one of the hardest words for people to say. It's hard because of pride and because of some situations for people to ask for help.
I think I realized how powerful words can be when I said the word bitch in front of my mother and she was like, what did you say? And I was like, oh, she mad at me.
I realized the power of words very early on with my jokes and with my impressions and whatever. My dad would make me get up and do impersonations of all of my uncles in their various stages of drunkenness.
Being funny can save your life sometimes because I was in the Bronx House of Detention. I was in a 40-man cell. And you know what? Those people got the tightest 2 days of comedy I've ever done in my life. I tell you what. Because that's what you gotta do. We're just sitting there, ain't no TV, so I'm cracking jokes. And I just remember people were just like, they were like, yo, you're funny, I'm gonna keep my eye out for you. Also, I'd be remiss if I didn't mention I learned the power of words from where? Hip-hop, real hip-hop.
You know what I'm saying?
You know that, shout out to Nas. First time I heard Illmatic, I was like,
whoa, yo,
the lyrics.
Whoa.
If If you want to know what's going on in the world, all you have to do is really look at the art or listen to the music.
Listen to your heart, don't you listen to your demons. Leave them behind, I've been trying to live my dream.
Here I am, and here I'm gonna keep on striving to get better.
Red wine, sipping, give me fine wines. But that little time, would you go, you know I get the queen of my life.
We're not gonna let anybody hold us down. This proves it, and we've done good.
I like to look at myself as a trendsetter, as an artist that's cutting edge.
Just to tell you so you know, yeah. Came for the struggle.
We talk about what's going on. We just make music that we want to make.
Yeah, every single minute is the morning. Gotta thank God it's a brand new day. I should love it.
Music is more than music to me. It go further than music, you know.
Gotta thank God it's a brand new day. I should love it. 'Cause I ain't never felt no.
The top country artist for the past 2 years in a row, Charlotte Pride.
You know, when the audience is quiet while you're playing, that's really great. That means they're listening.
We drew 1,003,000 people, the biggest crowd, to attend a show in history.
I need spiritual guidance and more liquor. I need you in my life like no liquor's eye.
When your music is your kick, why, that's it. That's the way it goes.
You know, if black culture had some kind of a birthmark, probably have to be music, right? I mean, no matter where we live, music seems to live in us. It's like a connection. You can see it in how we walk, you can hear it in how we talk. Like it lives in our joints, in our knuckles, in our knees, in our elbows. It lives in our mouths, whether opened or closed, and reminds us who we are and where we've been. Did you know that there's a sacred symphony coded in the hum of us? Did you know that we can teleport just by putting our hands together? It's kind of like back to the talking drum of West Africa, back to the griot and the storyteller telling tales while plucking the strings of a chord, back to the collective heartbeat of the journey across the Atlantic Ocean, sounds of waves crashing like cymbals against the sides of the boats. Back to the field hollers and the spirituals, back to the sound of steel instruments like shovels pushing into the ground, which is how we kept pace while working, how we passed secrets to one another. Songs like Go Down Moses and Wade in the Water were really hidden messages of rebellion and escape. Back to the Delta, where we played jugs and spoons. Yes, jugs and spoons. And slapped our chests and patted our knees and stomped our feet to make the beat. Where we played the harmonica and eventually the guitar. And from green grass and red clay and brown skin came the blues. Back to New Orleans, where the cultural gumbo birthed the music all its own. Had a swing to it, a bold flavor that matched the people who were making it and had way, way too much color to be named one. So they called it jazz. Back to Sunday service, storefront sanctuaries where gospel music could make us feel like flying and crying and praying and laughing, make us feel like we might have a chance in this world. And when the blues and gospel bled into one another, out came some of the best and baddest music to ever exist, rock and roll. It was a musical movement that birthed rebels, people who like to shake their bodies and shake up the world. Rebels like Little Richard, Jimi Hendrix, Tina Turner, or even Screamin' Jay Hawkins, whose music was so cutting edge that way back in the 1950s, it was banned on the radio. And I know what you're thinking. Yes, they had radio back then.
Hey, we Twins New Trend, and we about to listen to some black rock and roll.
Yes, sir. First up, we got Screamin' Jay Hawkins. We have never heard this guy before. Let's see what he got.
I put a spell on you. Because you're mine. You see that? He got. You see the little, horns he got in his nose, out coming out his nose. He got a skull on him on his hand.
You see that? It's like he's gonna blow up or something.
What now? Yeah. I love how you can tell he's great. You can see the veins in his neck.
Definitely, man. He
with
really
the tambourine.
Yeah. Next, let's hear some Little Richard.
To the east, to the west, but she's the gal that I love.
Look at this. He got a good perv in his head.
What's up here, Scott?
I don't know, black and white. You know this is back in the day. He probably the first little out of everybody, from Lil Wayne, from
Lil Uzi,
Lil Baby,
Lil Durk.
This was made in 1950, so
yeah, so they can't say nothing.
He got the rights. They need to pay him his money. He needs to copyright all the littles.
Yeah, I like that for sure. It'll give you church vibe.
Definitely, man. He made his own language up, man.
Last, we got the legend, Jimi Hendrix. He kissing the guitar, everything. He got the guitar on fire.
Wow.
I don't even know how he just left that on fire. I don't know how he did that, but yeah, he got some magic.
Yeah.
He got some magic.
It's something about him we don't know about.
How did he just let the guitar on fire, bro? I don't know how he did that, but hey, that's amazing.
Yeah, that's crazy. It's cool, man. We did our little research, and all the amazing artists, they're the first ones to make rock and roll.
And just how they just came about with their own flair, their own style.
Definitely.
How they just created their own flow, and people now doing what they was doing back then that they thought was weird. Yeah. And they trendsetted it.
Definitely, yeah.
That's right. We created rock and roll. And from there to soul, to disco, to funk, to punk, to R&B, black culture has always been connected to music. Matter of fact, we still clapping to the sounds of our lives. But nothing has had the global impact, and I mean nothing has had the global impact or has done more to connect, or should I say reconnect, black folks around the world like hip-hop. At its core, it has the call and response of field hollers, the grit of the blues, the improvisation of jazz, the emotions of gospel, and the irreverence of rock and roll. It samples them all and lays over top a unique style of poetry, turning rappers into griots and gold chains. I know y'all know Kendrick Lamar, but did you know that before Kendrick was blending his poems with jazz, there was a group called the Watts Prophets in the 1960s who were doing the same thing? Or what about the Last Poets, another group in New York around at the same time who also blended poetry and jazz and created an early form of what we now call rap. And there's more, many, many more. So many artists for you to dig up and discover, to see how the mixing of all our musical movements and moments is what made hip-hop our newest masterpiece.
We shall overcome. We shall overcome. We shall
Yo, y'all sound great, but y'all know this one?
You should have been downtown. The people are rising.
They said it was a what?
They opened the fire.
Why they open the fire? Oh my, time is up, but you gotta
the time now. Judge gotta watch us from the clock tower. Little tear gas cut the whole place out. I'll be back with the hazmat. For the next round. We was trying to protest and the fires broke out. Look up for the secret agents. You said it's civil unrest, but you sleep so sound like you don't hear the scream. Stand quiet when they killing brothers, but you speak loud. When we ride, got opinions coming from a place that's sicker than the COVID. How they did them on the ground, speaking of the cold. Is it still going around? And won't you tell me about the looting? Cause they throw away black lives. Plus unemployment rate was. Kill them in the broad day, man. And we just wanna break chains like started in the north end. Ride cops trying to block, now we got a showdown. Down, oh my God. You should have been downtown. The people are they said it was a what? They opened the fire. Why did they open the fire? Ooh wee. Let me get right. We've been through it all, though it could be worse. We've been moved around in a state of alert. There's nothing new or sharp about the cutting edge. If they build a wall, let's jump a fence, I'm over this. Cold stairs can never put the fear in me. There's a movement we've been grooving on. You can move or stay your butt asleep. Let's just not talk about it. If I make a move, you're coming with me. What about the love? Coming with me. What about the labor? Coming with me. What about the sea? You're coming with me. The people that you came with. It's coming with me. What about the love? Coming with me. Coming with me. What about the sea? It's coming with me. The people that you came with. It's coming with me. Hey. Okay, now just don't stay down. Let's go shake down. Until we get what we need. Oh yeah. Okay, I'm okay now. Can't hold me down. And let it fall like the leaves. I want it all.
Now performing his #1 adult contemporary hit, Make It Better.
How do you mend when your world's apart? Ooh, carry on. Ooh, from the start. Somehow we fell in love, then fell right out of touch. And ooh, that was hard. But ooh, here we are. And it's easier to walk away than to look for what would make you stay. Do you wanna make it better? Do you wanna stay together? If you do, then let's please make some new memories. Do you wanna make it better? Do you wanna stay together? If you do, then let's please make some new memories. Baby, yeah, yeah. If you do, wanna stay together. If you do, then let's please make some new memories. You wanna make it better. If you wanna stay together. Darling, if you do.
I was raised to understand that every month was Black History Month. That every day, my ancestors, contemporaries, and dreamers like myself can, shall, and continue to make history. I would realize through the education I received from my parents and my own travels that Robert Johnson, Louis Armstrong, Sarah Vaughan, and Slick Rick were one and the same. Native storytellers who shine a light on our purpose, preserved our legacy, and without question rocked the house. Some might argue that this here scribe is talking a whole lot of jazz, but anyone fly enough and culturally astute enough to listen will hear what I'm saying. We are here from the beginning, forever. we continue to rise.
Can I share a moment where I felt the most
Powerful.
real, true power?
Black itself is powerful, and being that I am black, a black woman, I am powerful just in my existence.
I felt most powerful when I went to my first job interview and I told them that I graduated from an HBCU.
As a black man, there is nothing more powerful than to watch other black people win, period.
In the future, I want our people to be able to tell the stories they want, and not just stories of pain and triumph, but stories of love, joy, happiness, silliness, coming of age. I want the whole breadth of our stories to be told.
Tell me what is right now.
We have to understand, for us to do anything major, we have to come together in everything we do. There's been initiatives like Buy Black, but I want to push it a little further. I want to bang black. I want to rent black. I want to shop black. I want to do everything black.
The souls of our people are born here. Spaces where first breaths are taken, where shape-ups take shape. Communities where we communicate in secret signals without words. We exist in bodegas, in churches, in private and public domains. Black folks gather together to break bread. We take up space and make neighborhoods whole. Community is our light and our source of replenishment. Not merely the buildings or physical locales, but the people who shelter us from harm. We form bonds that become sisterhoods and brotherhoods and neighborhoods, make homes and businesses out of empty blocks, and pass them through generations, investing in the people who made us. Community, not just lifeblood, but the places that cradle us from afar. Connections crafted from birth by our mothers and fathers, grandparents, uncles and aunties. In destruction, they embrace us eternally. In joy, they embrace us eternally. We wear them when we have nothing. When we leave, the community comes with us, our blankets of salvation. DJ
For us to be able to have, the NBA arenas as a polling site for a lot of communities, it's unbelievable. And November is right around the corner, and we all understand that. We know how big that is.
During this election season, more than 24 arenas and stadiums across the country have opened up to voters.
We've gone from picking cotton to picking president.
What was the message you wanted to send, Naomi?
What was the message that you got?
DMC, the man that's causing the beat. I got a message for the world, so listen up and breathe.
To see how it trickled down into every sport, it really woke the world up and let them know that we need change, we need more love in the world, and try to make it a better place.
You know I'm about to be black, y'all, and real brave, y'all. So take that.
They will always try to figure out a way to let you know that you still beneath them.
This country stands for justice for all, and it's not happening for all right now.
Some have made a Facebook page calling on people to boycott the St. Louis Rams.
We're in a tight position in any condition. Don't get in my way, cause I'm full of ambition.
The Clippers were to meet Utah today in a playoff game at the Sports Arena. It's not available.
Can we all get along?
Policemen pull black people over and hit them across the head and unjustly try them in court. And who went to jail? Nobody. It happens every day.
I'm a black man in a white world. 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 I'm a black man in a white world.
A black American athlete smashes the theory of a Teutonic super race. His name is Jesse Owens.
In 1936, the Chancellor of Germany and the leader of the Nazi Party, Adolf Hitler, hosted the Olympics because apparently anyone can host the Olympics. This, of course, was meant to be Hitler's way of showing the world how the genes of blonde-haired and blue-eyed people were dominant, even though Hitler himself had neither blonde hair nor blue eyes. Nonetheless, this was a war strategy. And what better place to attempt it than at an event that, when it first began thousands of years ago, was meant to pause all action on the battlefield and bring it to the track. Like, let's all stop killing each other for a moment so we can race. It's like breakdancing battles back in the day, where if you had a problem with someone, you just pop-locked your way through it. The point is, Hitler's goal with the Olympics was to demonstrate through sport who the chosen people were, the master race. But when the son of a sharecropper from Alabama, the grandson of an enslaved man named Jesse Owens, took to the track, Hitler's plans were turned upside down. But to understand the importance of this moment in Germany, we gotta understand what was going on in America. See, at the time, America treated black people like second-class citizens and were lynching black men as leisurely as having lunch. On top of that, America was in the thick of the Great Depression, an economic downturn that left millions of people jobless and hungry. And you know who lost their jobs first? You know who received less help from the government than anyone else? Black people. So when Jesse Owens showed up to the 1936 Olympics, he was coming to represent a country that didn't even regard him as human. A country economically broken and at war with itself. And you know what Jesse did? You know what he had the nerve to do? He became an artist on that track. His legs like paintbrushes painting a portrait of victory. But he ain't just win once, or twice, or even 3 times. He won 4 gold medals. 4 gold medals. I wonder about the weight of all that hanging around his neck. I wonder what it must have been like to have to swallow the fact that whether home or away, whether war or sport, he'd be running for his life. But most importantly, I wonder if he knew he'd be passing the baton, a handoff to the hearts of many, many athletes coming after him. From John Carlos and Tommy Smith, gold and bronze with their fists in the air in the 1968 Olympics. Or Muhammad Ali protesting the Vietnam War. And of course, the WNBA's unwavering demonstrations against racial and gender inequality. But I think it's safe to say, no athlete over the last 25 years has caused a stir or has sacrificed what Colin Kaepernick has simply by taking a knee during the national anthem. And Cap would become the battery that would power a coalition of so many other black athletes across so many sports. And together, a statement would be made, one that Jesse Owens couldn't make at the time. 1, we are no longer running. And 2, we are no longer playing.
Athletes are wired for performance. To run, to drive, to push, to compete, to excel, to make the right move at the right moment in order to do the damn thing. The images of black athletes excelling throughout history are indelibly seared into our brains. Serena's screaming serve, the powerful stride of Jackie Joyner-Kersee, Tiger's fist pump, Griffey's backwards hat. For black athletes, though, there's more. There is always more. They say a picture is worth 1,000 words, but for black men and women around the world, they're priceless. See, it's never just about the feat. It's never just about the touchdown or the home run, the race, the putt, or the score. Nah, behind what the picture shows, just beyond what is obvious, is what is inferred. See, the story of the black athlete in activism is also the story of what it means to be black in America. And in this country, it's been a long-held tradition to either hide, steal, or edit that story. Throughout time, black athletes have endeavored to tell the truth. Sure, sometimes the gestures were obvious, the words were loud. Sometimes it looked courageous, strong, and powerful. Other times it was graceful. We got the message. The shared experience of a smile, never being too far away from a wince. The fact that accomplishment rarely meant acceptance. And the all too true reality that even great triumph can be coupled with intense anxiety. Be it loud or quiet, obvious, purposeful or not, the images and the statements that came with them gave something to us. What we take from those images is what both an athlete and an activist provide: inspiration, pride, and a hope that one day we are seen as significant and capable no matter where we are, because we would love nothing more than to live in a world where a touchdown can just be a touchdown.
We know the death of George Floyd and so many other black men by white cops is sparking profound discussions and change in America. Tonight, the story of one artist trying to change the world.
Rafi puts a lot of time and effort into deciding exactly what each jersey will look like. The details are very specific.
If there are stars on the jersey, that's how many bullets were used to kill the person.
You know, if I had a son, he'd look like Trayvon.
There's that saying, all we're asking is for people to stop killing us. This project exists because people won't stop doing that. You know, when I was a kid, like I was really good at baseball and soccer, and you see the kids in the commercials, are they talking about an all-American kid? And I just thought, like, who is more all-American than me? If they're talking about an all-American kid, they're talking about me. And at some point in my life, I realized that nobody else thought of me that way, and that nobody would ever think about me that way. I started designing unarmed jerseys in 2013 after Trayvon Martin's killer went free. I thought, maybe if I put him on a team, then people would care.
I felt sad. I'm glad that these names are being kept in the limelight because they are victims. It's very emotional for me, as a police officer especially, and I'm really thankful to the artist, yourself, for doing what you're doing. We have to get justice for these people who were shot and killed unarmed.
In the fall of 2020, I drove across the country, visiting cities where these traumas have taken place. I went to Louisville and Kenosha, Minneapolis, Denver, Milwaukee. When I could, I asked people I met on the street to help me. We installed jerseys and shared stories.
Yo! Let's go! Hey, man, let's go.
RJ, first of all, what's your name?
My name's Mick.
Mick, how you feeling right now?
Man, I'm just glad to be a part of something like this, just spreading the word, doing something that's important, getting the message out there to people who don't know. It's years and years of history into that jersey, into that word, into our skin. We ain't taking no more of this stuff anymore. It's time. It's time.
RJ.
All right, man. Hey.
I went to George Floyd Square in the Elijah McClain Memorial Site. I met activists, police, parents, and teachers. They told me to keep going. I have collaborators now. We recently installed the first gallery show of Unarmed. 2 inches, right? 2 inches, my man. The day before our show opened, a woman visited the gallery. We didn't say much, but by the time she left, she was crying.
I'm excited to do this for George Floyd and Breonna Taylor. Feeling these emotions in this moment as we delicately place these jerseys in their honor, I'm like, wow, I'm a part of something special. I'm a part of something that means something. But I didn't expect to feel this weight. It feels good, but it hurts too, you know? I don't know. It feels good, but it hurts at the same time. It's hard to explain. I'm a part of something because I feel this movement, but unfortunately, we had to lose people for it, and I don't think that's necessarily how it should have happened.
Unarmed has taught me a lot of things over these last weeks, months, and years. Most of all, it's taught me that it's time for our country to start treating us like we belong here.
Our black skin is not a crime. It is the beautiful robe of nation builders.
I hope that you will feel the validation of your external beauty, but also get to the deeper business of being beautiful inside. There is no shade in that beauty.
I grew up in a house full of girls, and there was always makeup and clothes, and everything was there. Makeup never hurt anybody.
You just take care of the justice, and I'll handle the revenge myself.
Welcome aboard. You're right on time for another hip trip on the Soul Train.
Yes, I'm black. I'm proud of it. I'm black and beautiful.
I'm getting my hair done.
Are you gonna get beads in it? These are cute. Beads.
Two nuts. Show them what you got. What you got going on, Mom? Twins. Oh yeah. What you got going on? One braid.
Black girls are beautiful. Yes, and pose, and pose, and pose.
My earliest memory of getting my hair done is maybe I was like 6 or 7. And on Saturdays, my mom, she had this glass beige kind of headboard in her room with this big circle mirror. And I would sit in front of her as she twisted my hair. And when I was done getting my hair done, I would turn around, look at the mirror, see how beautiful and cute I looked. And then I'd say, "Thank you, Mommy," and I'd give her a hug. And so he would do my hair, and I remember he would have my hair laying so flat. My relaxers were so fresh every time. He always gave me really good haircuts, and it was nice. I loved coming out of the salon feeling beautiful.
Invite you.
I actually started to learn how to braid because I just wanted to do my own hair. I was tired of other people doing my hair because I thought I was too grown for barrettes. So I started with the Barbie doll heads. I would ask my mom to buy me them, and I would like braid, cut, style, you know, everything.
My name is Sweet Thing.
It wasn't until I was in high school that I had like a full weave put in with like my leave out, and it was really long. I would get like 16 inches, 18 inches, and I just felt like I was an R&B singer at the time, and I would have these long, you know, the long hair. I would get like the rollers and put rollers in it and do these curls, these big loose curls in my hair. and I really loved it. Like, I thought I was like a model for some reason.
Anyways, look at it.
My skin is brown.
At night, I just wrapped up the sides of my hair with a hair wrap, and in the morning, I would add a curl or two, and I was done. I still love the convenience of short hair. Like that old saying goes, if it's not broke, don't try to fix it. I'm still rocking my short hairstyles. I'm still looking Halle Berry cute. It's the short hair for me.
These days, because my parents were slaves, what do they call me?
I think that Black womanhood is so beautiful. When I think about the type of, care and love that our hair requires, and same with us, I don't think there's one way to view Black womanhood. I think if anything, it just adds to the beautiful complexities of Black womanhood.
Hey everybody, it's me, Bob the Drag Queen. I don't have makeup on, so embarrassed. Today I'm doing a Sylvester-inspired look. Sylvester started in gospel, but then ended up becoming this like disco queen. And I think he was using a lot of his gospel stuff into his disco music. Basically what I'm going for is the iconic Sylvester blue eyeshadow. I'm gonna give it a bit of a drag edge while keeping it androgynous and go for that signature orange Sylvester hair and a little shoulder pad. Well, all right, let's get cracking. Here we go. Not only was Sylvester breaking down gender stereotypes and beauty standards, he was really changing the game in a lot of ways. Even going to the gay pride parade in a wheelchair while he was dying in the middle of an epidemic, he realized how important it is to be visible, to be seen, to be out there. And I mean, I am willing to acknowledge and understand that a lot of the freedoms I have today are because of people like Sylvester doing it way before I ever did it. All right, honestly, I think this look is really good. I mean, I always in the middle of my life, am I gonna get it? But I turned it. I always turn it. Listen, y'all, happy Black History Month. And remember, Black is beautiful. And it's mighty real.
Ow! The Black LGBTQ community has shifted and continues to shift art, whether it be in fashion, or in music, or in film, or in television. It's changed the way we walk, the way we dance, the way we dress, the way we speak, and reminds us that life is best lived out loud. And who today shows us this more than the powerhouse that's Billy Porter? His role on the hit show Pose, and quite frankly, his role as an American icon, has been nothing short of a firework, something for us to look up to and marvel at. But remember, no one just becomes. Before Billy, there was Marsha. In almost every image I've seen of the late Marsha P. Johnson, her smile seems to bully the rest of her face. It's big and toothy, a bright crescent moon beneath two starry eyes. There's always some kind of flowers woven through her hair, or maybe she got on a hat or a scarf. Either way, you see color, you see joy. And that joy, I imagine, was a hard-fought joy. A joy salvaged from the American meat grinder of hate, not just of Black people, but also of queer people. So to be Black and, in Marsha's case, transgender, was to fight for joy. And fight she did. In the 1960s, queer communities in New York City were being raided by police officers who treated being gay as if it was some kind of criminal activity. Queer folks were being brutalized without consequence, but eventually, Like with all bullying, the bullied fought back. We now call this moment the Stonewall Rebellion, named after a bar in Greenwich Village where gay people, many of whom were black, rose up and resisted. The rebellion lasted 5 days and would be the start of the gay rights movement. That following year, 1970, the first gay pride parade would take place. And that same year, Marsha P. Johnson would create a physical space where young trans people could live proudly, where joy wouldn't be plucked out at the moment it broke ground. But what most don't understand, what most don't know, is that for people within the Black LGBTQ community, the dance of it all, the drama and shine, has always been a fight for joy. Theater of survival, where no one is playing a role. And one more thing, the category is freedom.
As a Black gay creator, I create a lot of things, and flowers is one of my main mediums that I use to express myself. I hope your flowers bloom. We're gonna make some Marsha P. headpieces, but I wanted to make them extra fancy because it's Marsha P. I love the way Marsha just claimed this as her own and really just I'm giving myself my own crown, and it's gonna be made of flowers. I'm here for it. Do you guys know why she put the P, Marsha P? Pay them no mind. Isn't that good? I love that. We love you, Miss Marsha P. Thank you for being you. Thank you for trailblazing and making a way for me to be who I am today. I think Marsha would be proud of me. What do you think?
So we've come to the end of our journey for now. And on this journey, we've explored the boundlessness of Black culture through so many incredible artists and icons. Which begs the question, what will you do? How will you add a brushstroke, a horn solo, a two-step, a photograph? How will you reimagine cool and reinforce self-love regardless of the judgment? You can, you will, because quitting isn't an option. How will you jump and swing and dive for the ball and stand for us all? What kind of runway will you turn the sidewalk into? You can, and you will, because quitting is not an option. What kind of song will you sing into the hairbrush? What new way will you learn to laugh? Because quitting is not an option. What new march will you learn to climb this glorious mountain of culture? The foothold's already there for you, the pathway up laid out, the brush cleared. All you have to do is step with some intention. Lift your chin and your knees high as you climb over rock and root. You can. You can. But once you make it to the top, and you will, tell me, what masterpiece will you carve from this stone?
To all of you out there who are just getting started, who are finding your place within this next generation of leaders and artists and change makers. Look, I know this time in your life might feel overwhelming. You're coming into your own, trying to create a new path for yourselves, just like so many gifted Black artists on this program once had to do for themselves. And that means taking risks, making mistakes, deciding who it is you are underneath all the pressures and expectations that other folks want to put on you. It's a lot. And that's not even considering the unique power of this moment in history. Your generation knows all too well that those old fault lines of fear, racism, and discrimination based on the color of your skin weren't erased by a civil war or the passing of a Civil Rights Act, and certainly not the election of a Black president. You've seen too much hate in the news and in your social media feeds, too many torches burning and racist flags waving, too many Black folks shot cold or choked out,
Too many folks ransacking the very center of our democracy. And too often, this behavior goes unchecked and unpunished, leaving us with the sad realization that in America, liberty, justice, and accountability are not for all. And it all leaves a pit in your stomach. It courses through your nerves the minute you step out the door. And it feels like a threat, not just to our country or even to our rights, but to us, to our safety, to our lives. And when you're faced with all of that, the natural response is to want to turn inward, to harden yourselves against the outside world. Look, I understand that instinct. Believe me, I do. But I've also learned that shutting everything out is only a temporary fix. And you and me, we need something that lasts. In politics, yes, we've got to participate, we've got to vote. But even more than that, we need something that allows us to live fully and freely, to be who we are every second of every day. And that means we got to let people into our stories, into our experiences, into our hopes and our fears and our rawest vulnerabilities. We got to talk it out. We got to write it out, rhyme it out, sing it out, shout it out, and do it with all the sweetness and spice and frustration and joy and celebration that makes us who we are. We've got to share it with our girlfriends and our brothers, with our neighbors and our mothers. We've got to share it with everybody, because that's how we help people see the truth of who we are. Now, to me, that's what the Black Renaissance is all about. All the creators and artists who, by bearing their truest selves, are shining their light out wider, out onto all of our stories, illuminating all their beauty and their pain, so that as a community, as a country, we can find our way through this world together. That's what we celebrate this month, and what we should be celebrating every day of our lives. The truth that our lives matter. Our stories matter. And when we share them, that's better for everyone. So I simply hope that all of you out there see yourselves as part of this renaissance, because we're not going to get very far without you. I want you to see the beauty in your experiences. I want you to put your stories out there, because when you do those things, you'll let the world in, and you'll bring us all a little closer together. I cannot wait to see the art, the songs, the hope you all will create in the years to come. Love you all.
You ain't gonna be able to stay home, my G. You ain't gonna be able to log in, scroll up, and cop out. You ain't gonna be able to pop a Xanny or down a brew during commercials, because the revolution will not be televised. The revolution will not be on social media. The revolution will not be brought to you by Fashion Nova, worn by your favorite luscious-looking IG model. The revolution will not show you images of self-proclaimed patriots scaling Capitol walls like Miles Morales amidst newly discovered spider powers. The revolution will not be televised. The revolution will not be brought to you by the Recording Academy, the Oscars, or the Emmys. And it won't be hosted by Jimmy Fallon, Jimmy Kimmel, or anything as white as the bread used in Jimmy John's. The revolution will not give you full lips like melanated queens. The revolution won't be dipped in hot water to provide you a flat tummy. The revolution won't train your waist to be thinner, because the revolution will not be televised, my G. There will be no images of the culture ransacking high-end fashion house storefronts with claims that it's time for them to get back to the hood. CNN won't be able to predict the swing from red to blue deep down south round about them sweet Georgia peaches. The revolution will not be televised. There will be no images of unarmed black fathers being gunned down by poorly trained coward badge wearers. There will be no images of unarmed black fathers being gunned down by poorly trained cowards wearing a badge. There will be no supernatural twerkers to distract you from the workers of iniquity. There will be no clubs open solely promoting everything you need to feed your insecurities. Thirsty Thursdays, Freaky Fridays, and Live on Sundays will no longer be the epicenter for hype beasts from all walks of life. And people will not care if Kanye and Kim's relationship survives on the next season of Keeping Up with the Kardashians. Why? Because black people will be in the streets, not looking for, but creating a brighter day. The revolution will not be on social media. There will be no dance routines on TikTok, and no visuals with smooth transitions or voiceovers to help you kiki the day away. The theme song for the revolution won't be written by Francis Scott Keys. The revolution won't be directed by Steven Spielberg, nor sung by Taylor Swift, Ed Sheeran, or Billie Eilish. The revolution will not be televised. The revolution will not be right back after a message about a white tornado, a white savior, or white people. You won't have to worry about your package from Amazon arriving safely to reveal the unnecessary items you purchased. You won't have to worry about if your new iPhone will have the same capabilities as your previous one, because the revolution will not be on social media. The revolution won't be seen on a mantle like Louis XIII. The revolution ain't gonna be where the money resides, but the revolution will put you in the driver's seat. The revolution will not be on social media. The revolution will not be televised, will not be televised, will not be televised. The revolution will not be a rerun, my G. The revolution will be live.
Gonna ask you to sing like people used to sing with uplifted voices. I love the Lord, he heard my cry. Did you know that the best minds of America tried to preserve slavery? Everything was against the idea of freedom.
Even in the face of absolute senseless violence, we must find the courage to keep on living.
It is a false notion that to serve God is to serve some far-off deity. God moves in human affairs. He fixes things for people who cannot fix it for themselves.
The power of God's God's moving through the land. Oh, the power of God's moving through the land.
In the name of Jesus today, oh God, we are rising to seize the